Hi.
Hello
Hi.
everyone.
Hi.
Hello everyone and wishing everyone a very good evening. Today we have gathered for the Chaos Magic session on Git, GitHub and GitKraken, hosted by the sliitfoss community. For today's event, we have two wonderful speakers, Shamon Shihanga and Ahmad Safnaj, both GitHub Campus Experts from SLIIT. Without further ado, I now hand over the stage to them.
Thanks, Deshan. Thanks for the warm welcome. So let me share my screen. Right, I hope my screen is visible. So very good evening and welcome everyone for the session on Chaos Magic with GitHub and GitKraken. So today we're gonna cover the sessions for very beginners, and it's even though it is titled with Chaos Magic, it's all about managing your project efficiently and effective way, right? So if you are already an expert on this tech stack, you can save 1 hour by skipping this session. So let's get started. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Safnaj. I'm the Sri Lanka 5th GitHub Campus Expert, and currently I'm working at Harrymac as a software engineer. Also, I'm going to graduate from SLIIT coming month. And these are some other communities that I represent. Here you have my social links. If you want to get connected with me, you can ping me anytime on any social medias. Chama.
Thank you, Safnaj. My name is Amod, and I'm a fourth GitHub Campus Expert. And here you can see my social links. I'm currently three student. Other than that, I'm leading these tech series. Safnaj.
Okay, that's good. So I always used to give a small introduction about this program where we belong to. So there is a myth always people say that we are kind of representative from GitHub and only promoting GitHub related stuff. So it is actually not like that. So what GitHub Campus Expert program is, GitHub have a subdivision called GitHub Education where they have a lot of empowerment program for students and academic teachers. So let's say as a student, if we are organizing an event, we may face a lot of struggles, right? Initially with budget. So it's a program from GitHub Education uh, to support technology community at your campus. So campus experts are not like GitHub representatives. It's technology leadership at your school. So let's say if you are organizing an event, GitHub will fund you the event and they may send some swags for the event. Also, if you are struggle to find a good speaker, they may arrange sometimes for that as well. So um, here is the link about this program. So currently they limited the program as one expert per campus. So once we both become an alumni, you can go ahead and apply for this program. So we here in Sri Lanka, we have like 7 experts right now, and we formed a community called GitHub Community Sri Lanka to conduct some events and do some watch parties of GitHub event. So me and Chamod from SLIIT and Isruaya is the first campus expert from Sabragam University. So last one we got from University of Colombo as well. I couldn't include his profile on this slide. So let me remind you the hashtags for today's event. So GitHub Education is much active on social medias. So if you are tweeting about this event or if you are sharing your feedback on social medias, make sure to use these hashtags. GitHub Education, let them know that there is an amazing event going in Sri Lanka. Okay. So first of all, I should ask you a sorry because when it's come to GitHub event, we never miss to give swags for the participants and a good food. So since it's a virtual event, we are unable to give these swags for you. Maybe in future, let's see. So let's dive into the topic, version control system. Let's see what is version control system and a bit history about this tech stack, and let's see why we need this VCS. So this is the definition that I found from Google. Version control is a system that records changes to a file or set of files over time to that you can recall the specific versions later. So it's a bit complex to understand, right? So as usual. So one of my co-campus expert, Dilum De Silva, he wrote a simple definition as full local history of changes made. So now you can understand a bit more, right? Compared to this Google definition. So whatever the changes you made to your project, it will be keep record. So whenever you want to go back, you can simply do that. So let's see why we need a version control system. So I love memes, and I believe that meme is a new way of communications to understand something quicker. So in this meme, you can simply understand that rather making multiple folders with your project like version 1.0, 2.0, 2.1, and the second option is like project revised. So let's say if your project size is like 800 megabytes, so if you have multiple folders like this, you will miss a lot of space on your PC, right? So Git is raised to overcome these issues. So if your PC got crashed, don't worry, we have everything under version control. So the first important point is history. So remembering what's changed over time and who worked on what and when. So let's say history is important even in the projects or real life, right? So let's say as a typical developer, we may do some mistakes, right? If you are not doing mistake, you are not a developer. So let's say one day our projects may run smoothly, and if someone do any changes in somewhere else, if you run the project today, it may throw some errors for you. So if you are confident enough that the previous project was working fine without error free, so you can simply go back to the history log and you can check the commits and you can roll back to your project for the working version. And the second important point is backup. So keep copies of your work in multiple places to avoid losing it. And most importantly, avoids to say my hard disk got crashed. So these kind of excuses are acceptable in our academic level projects. But let's say if you are doing a project for real client, or if you are working on a project in industry, so you can't say these kind of excuses, right? They will immediately fire you because the projects are millions rupees of worth. So by using VCS, you always have a backup of your project in a main server repository along with the source code history. And the third very important point is collaborations. So I believe that most of the participants today are from first and second years. So I think you are struggles with the group projects even in this pandemic. So how do you guys handle these uh, situations right now? So you can throw something your answers in the comment. I saw a lot of emojis there. Thank you very much. Can someone tell how do you manage your group projects these days? So when I was in first year and second year, like the as a group leader, we divide the task into our group mates, right? So one one student, once he completed his feature, he give his source code in a USB drive or G drive. So at the day before the presentation, the group leader has to suffer to integrate the project into a single unit. So that's how I worked when I was in first year. So then the sliitfoss community invited Isroya and did a Git session there. So then we completely shift to this VCS and GitHub stuff. So when you want to work with multiple developers on a single project, you have to follow this VCS, and some best practices are there. We will be seeing in upcoming slides. So VCS is allows you to work with multiple developers on a single project. So as we saw, VCS is allows you to collaborative development and allows you to know who made what changes and when. So it's kind of threat to some bad developers, right? So sometimes they say it is not done by me, I didn't do this modification, right? So by having VCS, you can easily check who did what changes, and when he did that, everything will be logged. So, and the third point is importantly allows you to revert any changes and go back to previous state. So this is the most advantage by using VCS, right? So let's see a little bit history about this VCS stuff. So the first concept came up for this version control world is local VCS. So here there are some major drawbacks. It is runs fully locally. That means you will be having your source code history, but it is only stored inside your PC. Uh, let's say if your PC got crashed, you will lose your entire project and entire history. And here the major disadvantage is you can't work with multiple developers here. So the second VCS type is centralized VCS. So there will be a centralized server. It's contain all the source code history and your project. But here the disadvantage here is if something happened to the main server, let's say the server got crashed, you will miss the entire source code history. You may have your project inside your PC, but the source code history is completely stored in that server. So if the server got crashed, you will lose your entire source code history. So finally the distributed VCS came to this picture. So this is fixes the previous VCS types had some issues. So it allows development to work collaboratively on the same projects. So here you will have the entire source code history in your PC and as well as in the main server. If something happened to a server, you will have the history on your PC, or if your PC got crashed, your entire source code history will be safe stored in the main server. So here you don't need internet connection all the time. So you need the internet connectivity to do the push and pull operations. So it is glad that more than 110 participants joined here. Thank you very much, and stay be till the event end. So we have some good news for you, and show some fire emojis in the YouTube chat. So let's see what is Git. So Git is a tool and it's a distributed version control system where you need to install this tool on your PC to keep track of your projects. So it tracks our source code changes as snapshots. So snapshots means like whenever once you've done your changes and you do a commit for that, so it is captured as snapshots and will be stored in the Git log. So it is the very lightweight tool and very fast. So it can handle small projects to very large projects in an efficient way. And most importantly, this tool is free and open source. So you can find this Git source code on GitHub, and if you want to play around with that, and if you want to see how it's built, you can go to their repository and check it out. And there are three types of stages in Git. One is working directory, that means your local projects inside your PC. And second one is staging area, that is like a middleware inside between the local PC and your main server. Then the main repository, that means the projects that you hosted in GitHub or GitLab or any other vendors. So let's see how this process is working. Let's say developer A and developer B are working on the same project. So the main project will be hosted in a remote repository. Here you can see in the cloud icon. So developer A clone that repository in his PC and do some modifications or feature development. Once he done with his changes, he can push that changes to the main repository. So the developer B can pull his changes to his PC, and now both have the same project, right? So that's how it works. And Git branches. So branching means like diverging from the main line and continue to work separately without messing the main line. So let's say if there are more than 10 developers, 50 developers are working on the same project. So if everyone working on a single branch and everyone pushing their changes at the same time, we may face a lot of conflicts there. So To overcome these issues, we have to, this is a kind of best practice to work in a separate branch. Let's say if you are developing a new feature, you can name that branch as a feature login something, and once that feature is done, you can close the branch. So you can have a proper tracking, and you can make the repository owner like not a headache free. So if you are guys are everyone working on the same branch or two branches, so the code owner have to fix the conflicts every time, and he have to go through a lot of issues. So it's kind of a simply alternative to a main branch. I will be explain more in the next image. So in this image you can see that let's pick the middle one as a master branch. So you create a copy, like if you once you create a branch, at the moment the project will be allocated a fresh copy, same as the master branch line. So you can have all the source code as the master branch have. Once you done your feature development or bug fixes, you can send a pull request to the main branch. Hey, I done this, merge this with the master branch. So the Git process is very easy. So once you use git init or git clone, those commands are used to create an Git repository inside your project, inside your PC. So there are only 3 simple steps. You have to add the files and give a commit message and push to a main repository. So let's see what is GitHub. As we know, now Git is a distributed version control tool where you need to install locally on your PC. So what is GitHub? So GitHub is an online platform that hosts repositories along with their corresponding Git history. So this is the place where you manage your projects in a graphical user interface way. So you will be having, like, simply think like it's a kind of G drive, but in G drive it's unable to detect the language, and it's unable to store the Git history. So in GitHub you can host your projects with the source code history, and it's a beautiful UI. So you can easily check who did what and when the changes occurred, when the errors occurred, and a lot of stuff's there. And GitHub is the one lets you and others work together on the same project. So even though we is a distributed version control system, GitHub is the one who divide these stuffs for you. And GitHub is acquired by Microsoft in 2018 for $7.5 billion US dollars. So now GitHub is a subdivision of Microsoft Corporation. And GitHub hosts over 100 million repositories on their platform. So let's understand with one more meme. So in this meme, you can say that the very small brain people talk like there's a way to handle this version control. You may read the first meme, read your code aloud and put it on Amazon as an audiobook. So it's a kind of method to keep the versions of your project. And the second one is taking a picture of your code. Funny enough. The third one, G Drive, you can share the projects between developers, but you can't have the source code history and branching features and a lot of stuff there. So intelligence people will be choose GitHub definitely. So let's see why GitHub. So GitHub make version control easier, and GitHub provides good graphical interfaces, so it is very user friendly and easy to handle. As I said earlier, you may have a proper view of your commit history and your contributors log, and there are a lot of graphical views to see when you got a lot of improvements in your projects, and who are the people from, where the people are from working on your projects, and a lot of stuff. And it removes the headache of combining and sharing the large code files. So whatever the file size is, it doesn't matter with GitHub. It will handle the process in a very fast way. And GitHub have an immense powerful community. So it's the #1 developer platform on the planet right now. So even though there are some competitors for GitHub, GitHub being the king among them. It has over 40 million developers and over 100 million public and private repositories, and it is getting 1 billion contribution, more than 1 billion contributions per year. And as you can see in this image, the major companies like Spotify, Airbnb, Shopify also using GitHub, and some of the very famous open source projects like Docker, Angular, React, Kubernetes are built on top of GitHub. And GitHub is not only a repository hosting provider. So once Microsoft acquired GitHub, it's become even more powerful. So GitHub have some awesome services like static web hosting, where you can deploy your static web pages for free, and project management. So let's say you are doing a project in an agile way. You don't need to go with Jira or what is that, Trello board to keep track of your works. So GitHub have inbuilt project management tool called Github Boards. Now it is getting improved by within 2 weeks. I think they have improved their UI stuff. So you can simply create to-do list and assign a developer to do that feature and a lot of stuff. And the third important point is container image hosting. So I think they introduced this service like 6 months or 8 months ago. Before that, we have a Docker Hub to host your Docker images. Now you can host your container images in GitHub as well. And package registry management. Let's say if you are a Node developer and you want to publish your npm packages, so you can directly do that from, excuse me, so you can directly do that from GitHub. And the next point is GitHub Actions for CI/CD. So previously we have a lot of CI/CDs tools and some plugins out there. So GitHub Actions was introduced in 2018. So now you can, let's say you want to build your application to cloud. So you can use GitHub Actions for your continuous integrations and continuous deployment. So you can directly deploy your application right from GitHub to any cloud provider. It may Microsoft Azure, or it may AWS or GCP. So testing and security. So that is the cool feature from GitHub. Let's say in your projects, you will be having a lot of dependencies, right? If it is a node-based project, you'll be having tons of packages inside that. So you know the meme of node modules, the Thor hammer. So if you are using an outdated package, so GitHub will be automatically notify you are using an outdated package, and in a button click you can simply update that particular outdated package. So these are some terms that we use in GitHub world: push, pull, fork, pull request, issues, code reviews, action. So we may see this in practice in upcoming slides. So it's time for the demo. Yeah, wow, still 120 participants are in live. So it is so difficult to watch this in the same screen and do the demo, but you can watch this carefully and do the demo later on, because that is the disadvantage in doing a virtual event. So as a first step, you have to set up your account. So I think most of you are installed Git tool on your PC. So you have to write this command to git config dash global flag user.name with your GitHub username, and then same as the command, you have to configure your email. Then there are two ways to create a Git repository. So one option is you can initialize the project from your local PC using git init command, and second option is you create the repository in GitHub and clone that repository in your PC and start working on. And making commits, git add file name if you are staging one particular or set of files to the staging area, and you can use git add space dot command to add all the files as at once. And the next command is used to put a commit message. Always try to put a meaningful commit message so other developers can understand it easily without having a mess. So updating repositories. So if you want to push the changes, that means upload the changes to GitHub repository, you have to use git push command. And if you want to fetch the changes from the main GitHub, like it is kind of downloading, so you have to use git pull command there. So one more key feature on this VCS is like forks. So let's see why we need this forks and what is the benefit of using this. So fork is a copy of a repository. So let's say if you want to work on a group project, you have to be you have to have the permission from the code owner, that like he have to add you to that project. So then only you will be having the push and pull access to that project. So if not, in such situations, if you, let's say if you found a good project on GitHub, and if you found a bug on that project, and if you want to contribute that, you may don't have the access to that project, right? So what you can do this, you have to create a copy from that repository to your repository, right? So that is called as fork. So it will be like you can experiment whatever you want in your project. Like once you fork, it is your repository, so you can do any changes or you can develop any new features. So once you're done with the changes, you have to send the pull request to the main projects to merge your changes with their main one. So after forking a repo, it is same simple 3 steps: clone, and then commit and push. Then you have to send pull request. So after, as I said earlier, after editing a fork, have made changes, so you have to send a pull request to the main project. So this allows the repository owner to review the changes you have made and decide to merge. So once you send the pull request to the original project, so the project owner may do some code reviews and he may check what changes you done. So if once he reviewed it carefully, he may merge that changes to his project. So conflicts. So conflicts is kind of like, let's say, why we getting conflicts in our real world. Say, can someone drop an answer in the chat box? It's not, it shouldn't like not with the projects only. We may get conflict with our friends or girlfriends. It happens, right? So when we arguing a same topic with some other people's, conflicts may happen, right? So that's what happens here as well. So if you are working with multiple developers on a single project and you are not following good practices, this will happen if you merge the changes. So why conflict arises? Conflicts arises when 2 separate branches have made edits to the same line in a file. So let's say we 4 developers are working on a project, and 2 developers made changes to the same line of code in same file. So that time, if you are merging that changes to your main branch, or if you are sending pull request, so there are conflicts rises. So it will ask you to fix that conflicts manually, and most of the time it happens when merging branches and merging pull request. So you can resolve conflicts in 2 different ways. One is manually. So that means, like, let's say in this picture you can understand, right? So the head is the changes that you have on your project right now, and the one highlighter in the orange color, it is coming from this another branch or another pull request. So here you have to decide what you have to accept in a manual way, and you have to raise these arrows and these equal signs manually. So, and if you are using an intelligence based IDEs like JetBrains or VS Code, it may ask you to you can resolve conflicts within with a click. So here you can see accept current change, accept incoming change, accept both change, and compare changes. So here you can simply decide what you want to merge this at this point, or you have to reject. So you can simply resolve conflicts. So let's see all these stuffs in actions. So I hand over this stage to Chamod. Chamod, over to you.
Thank you, Samraj. Let me share my screen first. Sapna, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Great. As a first step, you have to download and install Git to your computer. This is where you can download it. Let me drop the link in the chat. So based on your OS type, you can download Git here. So then you need to install it. Once you install the Git, you can use Git CLI. Let me. I have already installed Git, so I can use it from here. So as you can see, when I type Git and hit enter, it will show commands like this. So first I need to set up the configuration first. The first one is setting up the Git username. So I am using this global flag because I'm going to set this username as global, and this is a username in my GitHub account. And if you don't know this command, don't worry, you can refer the GitHub cheat sheet. I will drop the cheat sheet link as well. As the second step, you need to set up your email, git config. Here you need to provide your email address which you use to create your GitHub account. Right, now everything is okay. So let's assume I have a project folder. So I'm going to create a new folder here. Still, this is just a folder. To make this as a Git repository, I have to run another command. So let me open this in the terminal. To initialize this as a Git repository, I should run git init. Hope you can see it output initialize empty Git repository in this location. If I run this command, you can see there is a directory called .git. This is the directory which contain all the Git related stuff. If you delete this directory, then you will face some problem, because this is the folder which used to contain all the Git data. So since this is the empty repository, let me create a file. For easy editing, let me open this in VS Code. So inside this JavaScript file, I'm just writing console log which print hello world. So as you can see in the GitHub cheat sheet, you can see the status of your Git repository by running Git Status command. So it says no commit states, and there is a untracked file called index.js. So it asks me to run this command to add this index file as a tracked file. So now I need to add this file to the Git histories. So there is two options available. That I can type the file names which I need to add, or I can simply put a dot. If I put a dot, I don't need to specify what are the files I need to add. So let me just add a dot here. So again, when I run the git status command, it says new file has added. So like Safnat says, this project is still in my computer. Now I need to distribute to GitHub. So in order to do that, I have to go to the GitHub, github.com. If you haven't created an account, please create a one. Then you need to click on this plus icon. In here, you need to specify the repository name. Usually, provide the name when you are creating the folder. So I use -git session. Then in here, you can provide a description, and in here, there are two options available, public and private. If you choose private, this repository won't be available to see others because it's in private. But if you choose public, it's visible to other people as well. So I'm going to select public and click on create repository. So now this is my local repository, and this is my remote repository. But still these two are not connected. So to connect them, I need to specify the remote URL. So I need to run command. The command is, you can find it from the cheat sheet. Here. So it's git remote and add. You need to provide the alias and the URL. So I'm gonna execute git remote add origin and the URL. You can copy the URL from here and paste it, and then hit the enter. So now I can commit the changes and push it to GitHub. So the commit message is really important, but as a best practice, please use first letter capital. So I'm going to type as a commit message initial commit. Now I need to publish these changes to GitHub. So like Sapnat says, I need to run command called git push. So it says specify the upstream. I'm lazy to type, so I'm going to copy this and paste it. Yes. So if I reface this GitHub repository, yeah, I can see the JavaScript file here with the hello world. So now I want to add Sapnat as a contributor of this repository. So what I'm going to do is go to settings tab and go to manage access section. Here it's asked the password again. So in here, I need to click invite collaborator. So in this text field, I need to add Sapnat username or his email. So I'm going to find with his username. Then I need to click on this add Sapnat to this repository. So I think now he should get an email from GitHub. Sapnat, did you get an email?
Give me a minute. Yes, I got.
Can you show it and continue that from your side? Have you seen?
Yeah, sure. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. Seems like participants are dropping, right? 89. Before I saw like 120 participants. If it is boring, let us know in the comments so we can do something interesting. So drop some emojis in the YouTube chat. So here you can see the mails from GitHub that Chamod has invited me to work on his repository, right? So this invite will be expired in 7 days. So let me accept that invitation and start working on this project. So have to accept this invitation. Okay, right. So here you can see there's a index.js file. So now I'm a member of this project. So I have an access. I got access from Chamod to work on this project, right? Until the code owner given you the access to work on this project, you won't get push and pull operations to work on this project. So let me clone this project to my PC, do some modifications. What you can see, I'm on my desktop, so I have to use this git clone command and this repository URL to clone the repository from GitHub server to my PC. So now it's done. So let me go back to my desktop and see git session. Yes. So this is the file that Chamut created. So let me add one more file here. So cd, I'm inside this repository now. So let me create a readme file. Okay, I have created a readme file. I'm adding that file now, git add dot to add all the files that we created. Git add, then git commit message, readme file added. Now you can see I have committed the file. Now what I have to do is just git push. So process is going. Yes, it's done. So let me come back to this repository and refresh. Yes, here you go, the readme file, right? So it should be in capital to detected by this GitHub. So now you could see that the file that I have created in now it is in uh, Chamo repository. So if he want these changes to his local PC, he have to simply write git pull command to get the changes to his PC. So shall we
Let
move
me
to
show
the,
that.
yeah, sure.
Safnath, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
So in the GitHub, I can see the files uploaded, but in my local repository, it's not available. So in order to get that, I need to run git pull command. Let me run it. Yeah. So now it's visible. In the community, I see one who's asking what is the difference between fork and cloning. So if you don't have push access to repository, you have to fork it first. But there's need to be a public repository. So let me show an example. So I'm in Safnaj's GitHub profile, and I'm going to find the public repository in his repositories. So so for this repository, actually I don't have access. So in order to contribute to this repository, first I need to fork. So it asks where it need to fork. So I choose my profile. So now I can clone it like did earlier and do the modification and push this to push changes to this repository and make a pull request to the original repository. That's how it's works. So let's talk about branches. So imagine now I want to do a modification without affecting the main branch. So in order to do that, I have to create a branch because GitHub has feature called Git branch. To create a new branch, I need to execute command called git branch and the branch name. I'm gonna write dev. So to switch the dev branch, I need to execute git switch dev. So when I switch to the dev branch, you can see this terminal has changed. Okay, now I'm in the dev branch. So let me do a modification in right from this branch. I'm going to type here changes from dev. Now I'm going to commit it. Here also I need to specify this upstream. Yeah. Okay, now we have two branches. One is main and the second one is dev we just created. To merge these branches together, we can create a pull request from the GitHub. So here you need to provide the pull request title, and you can comment here what are the changes you have done, and then you can create a click on the pull request button. After that, the repository owners and maintainers can review your changes and merge it. So since I'm the owner of the repository, and I can merge this repository. Sorry, I can merge this pull request. So you can see these changes in main branch as well. So let's talk about Git Conflict. So since I'm in the dev branch, I'm going to do a modification in this README changes to from dev. And I'm going to commit it, and okay, now again I did a new changes to dev branch. When I switch to dev branch, you can see I have added another line. Safnaj, can you change the same line in right from the main branch? Then we can make a Git conflict. Safnaj?
Yes. So yeah. Shall I make changes in this main branch or
Yeah, in the main branch. Add something to the readme second line.
okay? Give me a minute. Okay, done.
Thanks. Yes. So when I'm again going to create a pull request here, here we go. So it says there is a conflict in this file. It's asked me to resolve the conflict. So in order to resolve the conflict, first you need to click on this resolve conflict button. Then here you can see some odd symbols. So these are the changes coming from dev, and these are the changes which is already in the main branch, and this is the middle of the config. So in here I can choose what I need to see in this file. I want that file in this way, so I'm need to mark this file as marked result. Then it asks us to commit merge. Now we have successfully resolved the merge config. Now we can merge the pull request. Then we can see all the changes here. So when you are working with Git, you can create issues. go to Issues tab and click on New Issue. Here you need to provide the title of the issue and the comment if you have any. I'm going to type set up GitHub setup and GitHub action. So in the issue, I can assign contributor. So I'm going to assign me as a contributor. And here I can add some labels to that issue. So I'm going to submit this issue. Sorry. And also I'm going to create another issue. And I'm going to try. So like Safran explained earlier, GitHub has another cool feature called GitHub Actions. In here, you can build your code and test and deploy to somewhere you want. So since this repository has JavaScript and it's based on JavaScript, so we need to have Node.js environment to run JavaScript. So when you are creating GitHub action, we can choose Node.js. So GitHub is suggesting to choose this template when we are creating GitHub actions. So I'm going to set up this workflow. Let me explain what's in here. So this is the, I think you have heard file extension called YAML. So its long name is yet another markup language. So what it says in this file, it says the name of this GitHub action is Node.js CI. CI means continuous integration. So in this section, it says when this action need to be triggered. So it says push. So and here it says branches. So that means when the main branch get a pull request. When the main branch get a commit, this action will be triggered. So in here it says pull request. So that means when this repository get a new pull request, this action will be triggered. So in here there are a section called job. So this is the build section. So it says, and here we can specify the environment this action should run. So here it says Ubuntu latest, and in here we can specify the which node version this action should run, and these are the steps. So it has provided some command here. I'm going to remove them and just put out This should work. In that caption, we have specified 3 node versions: 12, 14, and also we can specify other OS versions, OS types like Windows latest, as I remember this should work. Okay, now Safnat, can you show our GitHub organization work, how it's going? Safnat?
Yeah, sure. So let me share my screen. Chamal, is my screen visible?
Yet. Yes.
Okay, so we did our demo, and it's time for you to make pull request to that repository. Chamod, please drop the repository URL in the YouTube chat box. So, so I believe like most of your first year and second year, you got to know how to work with these branches and how to contribute to someone else's projects. So what you have to do is fork this repo, add the README file, or add your name in the existing README file, and send us pull request. So we may got to know that you learned something out from us today. So sometimes we
Safnat,
can even do, yeah.
and also we can ask them to build a AutoCAD and use our hashtag you showed earlier and share that in their social media. I will drop
Yes,
the my AutoCAD
of course.
link.
So Chaman will be sharing an AutoCAD URL. So you have to design your AutoCAD avatar. You know what is AutoCAD, right? The GitHub logo, the cat. So you have to design your own AutoCAD avatar and publish in the social medias with the hashtag that I saw earlier. I will repeat the hashtags again. So we may even give gifts for the first 3 pull requests, right, Chamon? We can send stickers via post. So we have some
Yeah.
stock stickers. So we can. So those who send us the first 3 pull requests, so you will be getting some stickers from us. So it's your turn to make contributions to the project. So one more thing we left from today's event. So even though we couldn't bring some swags for you, but we both brought some gift for you all, for the all peoples who joined us today. And I have to remind that you guys are really lucky. That means I got to know GitHub when I was in early second year. So once I got to know this stuff from Israel, I rocked my academic projects with these Git and GitHub stuff. So when we were integrating our projects in second semester, some other groups mates are sharing the codes via USB drive and G drive, a lot of headaches. So you will be really um, lucky to get this knowledge from whether you are from first year or second year. just learn and get more familiar with these technologies and rock your academic projects. So this is the pandemic, right? So you can't even share the code now in USB. So you have to definitely learn this tech stack, because if you are moved to industry for internship or permanent job, no one will teach these stuffs for you. What is version control system, how to create branches, no one will teach you. They will ask you to get a clone from this branch and do your developments and as pull requests. That's it. So you have to learn this by yourself. So let's see what is the gift is. So can someone guess the worth of the gift, like value in Sri Lankan rupees or US dollars? I think I asked these questions many times in my previous events as well. So can anyone guess the price? You can drop the answer in the YouTube chat. My camera is turned off. Like, give me a minute. Why you are getting turned off? $10 from Sachin. No, we not that much of crunchy. So GitHub is have like wider. We have a very large. Hundred crores. Okay. Any other answers? Quick, quick, quick. No, we not gonna put your photo in somewhere else that you answer wrongly. Just answer. We all are like colleagues. Okay. Without wasting the time, let's see the value. It is more than 200,000 US dollars for everyone who joined us with today. If we convert this to Sri Lankan rupees, sorry, it is something that value I can't even read with whether it is crores or not. So the gift is GitHub Student Developer Pack. You might heard this. If anyone heard this before, please drop in the chat box. If you already know this, or if you already acquired this GitHub Student Pack, you awesome and good to go. Please utilize the tools inside this pack for your academic projects. So what this Student Developer Pack is, they have like more than 300 premium tools and products for students, and give this bundle these all these tools as a pack and give to students free of charge. So you can get Microsoft Azure credits, AWS credits, MongoDB, name.com, where you can create free domains, and Heroku Cloud, you can deploy your backend or front end stuff for there, and lot of stuff. We just mentioned few famous projects. Here's the URL: education.github.com/pack. So what you want is you need to have a student email. I think SLIIT provides us when we in our first day of our university life. That is really appreciable. And if you are not using that campus mail previously, go to that email. There are a lot of benefits out there for students' emails in the world. So do an apply for this pack. You will get approved by next day. So believe me, I use a lot of these tools inside this pack from my academic projects and final year research as well. So in my final year research, I deployed the services in AWS, Azure, and Heroku, everything, because I'm leaving the campus, right? So I had to utilize these credits. So, Chamod, any experience from your side?
Yeah. Even in our sliitfoss, we are using a lot of tools to when we are developing some cool projects. So also in my personal GitHub profiles, it's also a premium account which I subscribe from GitHub Education. Yeah, that's all from my end.
Yeah. So yes, there are these projects are very worth, like, sorry, these tools are very worthy tools. Like, if you want to get these tools with your money, you have to spend more thousands and lakhs to acquire these tools. So we GitHub Education provide these tools for you for free. So all you need to do is sign up with your campus mail. You can add your student email to your GitHub account as a secondary email. Then go to this URL and apply with the campus mail. So SLIIT is already verified by GitHub Educations, so they will approve your request within a day. So don't wait, get this pack right now, right after this event. Maybe you can start using it. So let's see where to go from here. So everything, we can't become a master of any technology within a single session or single year, right? So you have to explore more. So explore more about GitHub and how to work with Git and GitHub more effective way. So there are a lot of extension in VS Code, and JetBrains have inbuilt graphical views. So explore more about these tech stack and get your hands on the keyboard and experiment everything. So then you will become more familiar, and one day you become even master on this tech stack. So practice makes us better persons, right? So you had to do a lot of practice. So when I was noob in this tech stack, I struggled with a lot of issues. I reached Isuraya and Chamod how to resolve these conflicts likewise. So you have to practice. So do your next project using these technologies, and try out GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions is a cool feature from GitHub. So if GitHub Actions is not there and any other CI/CD tools are not there, you have to build the app every time. Let's say if you are working on a React application, so to take it to take that application to production, you have to build that, right? So it will product a single HTML and couple of bundle JavaScript files. So whenever you make changes, you have to build again and again and deploy that file to a cloud. So by using GitHub Actions, you don't need to do these stuffs manually. You just push your changes to your GitHub repository. GitHub Actions will do the rest for you, and contribute to open source projects. So I will show our sliitfoss organization in GitHub. So you can learn a lot of new stuffs by working on someone else projects and in open source world. So basically I learned some new technologies, start working on some open source projects. So the same way you can do. We did our sliitfoss website using Angular and Docker, Kubernetes, Nginx server, GitHub Actions, Firebase, lot of stuff. So currently we are doing some other projects as well, and participate Hacktoberfest 2021. So Hacktoberfest is a competition during the month of October. So between October 1st and 31st, you have to send some pull requests to open source projects. So in that time, you can't learn these technologies, right? So now you know what is Git and GitHub, what is pull request, what is fork, everything. So do some practice. When October's come, we may open some repositories in future. So if you found some good repositories in good organizations, you can contribute that. So Hacktoberfest team will be sending some gifts for you. Like every year they have beautiful t-shirts and some stickers. So you will get that. And get into Google Summer of Code. If you don't heard about this competition, uh, just search about this competition. So because I missed to do this when I was in university. So by participating in this competition, you will learn a lot of technologies, and great, you will get a lot of connections from all around the world. So there is nothing like first place, second place, third place. So if everyone complete your challenge during the summer of US time zone, but here it is not summer for us, but if you able to manage your academic with this project, you will if you are able to complete this, you will get Sri Lankan rupees like 5 lakhs, I guess. Am I correct, Chaman?
Yeah.
So 5 lakh Sri Lankan rupees for everyone who complete this Google Summer of Code challenge. So 5 lakhs is not a,
Also recognition.
yes, they will provide you a certificate, and it is, you can proudly say that you are a Google Summer of Code student. So you will get hired from some big companies. So it is a major advantage. So go ahead and search about this program. When they are opening, we will be notified from our sliitfoss social handle. So make sure you follow us from any of our social handles in Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and keep contributing to the community. So this is the most important thing in a university life, right? So communities is everything. So you will not get, you will get a lot of connections, so, and you will learn new things. So connections make something beautiful for us, right? So if you go to industry, so the former first president is there to hire you as an interviewer, so he will hire you. So join our first community, or we have some other clubs as well, MS clubs, cyber securities, data science clubs. So being a community member is always proud. So make sure you join any communities and start contributing. So before going to the questions, let me go back to my GitHub. Give me a minute. Someone please drop our organization URL in this YouTube chat box. So here you can see we have an organization in GitHub for sliitfoss community. Here, this is the projects that we used to build our community website. Here you can see the tech stack that we used to build this project. So if you want to learn this project, go through our website. If you found any bugs, create an issue in our repository and start working on. Here you can see there are more than 15 contributors who worked on this project. So likewise, currently we are working on Faculty of Computing students community website right here, FCSC web. It is, we are using React with Next.js. So if you want to learn this technology, you have to, like, working on a project, you can learn something, right? So you will get familiar with this tech stack, and we are building another project called RSVP, like event management system for our all the clubs inside our SLIIT Faculty of Computing. So that is also, we are using React, TypeScript, and Next.js as well. So we have front end and back end both separated in the repository. If you are good at in front end, you can join that repository and start working on. So you don't need to be a master to start working on this project. So you can start with hello world and join with us. So we will be allocate some task for you, like simple tasks, so you can complete that and do some contribution. So we have more projects like, from very, if you are a very beginner, you can start with hello world projects that we have. So we have a chessboard where you can play chess game with your voice commands, and we have Java projects, JavaScripts, Go languages, and
Sweet.
Flutter mobile application. So make sure you have always have a look on this organization as well. Come back here. Seventy, just remind me that make sure you give some stars for our reports. I don't know whether she mean that one or not, but give some stars for our projects. So it will be good impression for us, for our projects and our organizations. So if you have any questions, this is the time.
And I have one more thing to say. There is a tool called GitKraken. You have to pay $9, as I remember. But using GitHub student pack, you sorry, not that link. Let me know the link in the chat. So go to that URL and download that tool. So you can visualize your Git workflows and uh, uh, so give a try.
You are breaking, Chamod. Can you repeat?
I think my internet connection is not stable.
Now fine, now fine.
Also, you can try GitHub Learning Lab, where you can learn GitHub stuff with GitHub.
Yes, seems like no questions. Any questions? Please drop in the YouTube chat.
Since there is no question, I think we can wrap up the session.
Yes, let me show the hashtag again. So this is the hashtags that you have to use if you are publishing the AutoCAD in social media. So if you are sharing your feedback or putting Instagram stories, whatever, make sure to use these hashtags. You can have a snap on this. So yes, that's it, folks. Seems no questions. Thanks everyone for joining us with today with your valuable time. So I hope you all learned something today. Uh, Stay tuned with sliitfoss community. We planning to conduct some more events in future, and make sure to follow us on social medias and visit our GitHub organizations to find some cool repositories there. So that's all, folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the informative session. I appreciate everyone's participation and engagement. I'm convinced that everyone gained a lot from this session. Thank you again, and good night.